Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Taché Houghton.
The sun won't be shining on the first weekend of fall, but expect great weather for the start of your week. Here is your complete 5-day weather forecast. Today will be sunny with a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon, a high of 17 and a low of 8. Saturday, a 30% chance of showers in the afternoon and evening, a high of 18 and a low of 8. Sunday will be cloudy with a 40% chance of showers, a high of 16 and a low of 11. Monday will be cloudy, a high of 20 and a low of 9. Tuesday will be sunny with a high of 21 and a low of 8. Stay warm and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Taché. Now turning to international and national news, an Alberta meat processing plant has had its license suspended due to an E. coli outbreak. Beef exporters XL Foods was flagged 2 weeks ago by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Since then, officials say the company has failed to completely correct problems that led to the outbreak. The Alberta Health Service said Wednesday 4 people in Edmonton were sick from meat they purchased at a Costco, but it's unclear whether the E. coli came from XL Foods or the meat slicer in the store.
Experts are meeting in Halifax today to delay the release of a generic form of OxyContin, which they say could be dangerous. Doctors say more research is needed on the drug before it is released to the public. The painkiller is highly addictive and easily altered to make it work faster. Ontario Health Minister Deb Matthews says abuse of OxyContin is so prevalent, some First Nations communities have declared a state of emergency.
Today is the 3rd day of hearings describing the Montreal Mafia's penetration of the city's economy. The inquiry was presented with surveillance video of the construction and mafia meetings where bosses exchanged money, which they then stuffed in their socks. Construction boss Lino Zambito said yesterday it was impossible to work in the market without payments to the infamous Rizzuto Mafia family. Montreal Mayor Gerald Tremblay expressed outrage that information discovered by the RCMP over 5 years ago was not released earlier. The inquiry will continue to hear statements next week.
A top Chinese politician's career is at an end with his expulsion from the Communist Party. Ex-city leader Bo Xilai has been formally evicted from China's ruling party. Bo is accused of taking bribes and of abuse of power. The scandal began when Bo's wife was accused of, and later confessed to, murdering a British businessman. Bo's firing comes 6 weeks before China's once-per-decade leadership change.
The body of union boss Jimmy Hoffa may be resting under a Detroit driveway. Soil samples are being taken from beneath the driveway because of an anonymous tip. Michigan police have confirmed they are searching for a body. Hoffa was last seen in July of 1975, and his death has been a mystery ever since. Searches for the Teamsters' leader remains are not uncommon in the Detroit area.
19 people are dead after an airplane headed for Mount Everest crashed in Nepal today. The plane caught fire after crashing into a riverbank only minutes after leaving Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. On board were 3 crew members and 16 passengers, 12 of whom were international travelers. The exact cause of the accident has not been confirmed, but it is known that the aircraft hit a bird shortly after takeoff.
And now with your sports news, here's Elton Hobson.
The Humber Hawks men's rugby team has destroyed another OCAA opponent. The Hawks beat the Conestoga Condors 109-0 yesterday at the Humber Valley Field. This is now the 3rd game in a row that the Hawks have scored over 100 points against their competition. Humber's athletic director Doug Fox says the lack of strong competition may make it difficult to recruit new players.
It worries me. We have 5 or 6 provincial players and 1 national level player, and they're going to want to go where they're playing rugby that's at the level they're capable of. So I'm concerned about losing some of these players at the end of the year because we're not providing enough competition for them.
With this year's hockey season hanging in the balance, the NHL has resumed negotiations with its players' union today. Talks have been stalled for 2 weeks. The meeting kicks off 3 days of negotiations between the NHL and NHLPA in New York City, in the hopes of averting a potentially season-ending lockout. The NHL has already announced the cancellation of all preseason games. With the regular season set to kick off on October 11th, the negotiations have reached a critical phase, even as both sides still appear to be miles apart. The NHL players' lockout has been in effect since September 15th. The last time there was a lockout, the NHL lost its entire 2004 season. The 39th Ryder Cup tees off today, and the best golfers in America and Europe will face off at the Medina Country Club. Team Europe is led by Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, and Luke Donald. Team America is hoping Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Jim Furyk can help reclaim the cup. Team Europe has won 6 of the last 8 Ryder Cups, but the Americans won the last time they hosted the event, which was in Kentucky. Over to baseball, where the Toronto Blue Jays surprised the division-leading New York Yankees with a 6-0 shutout at the Rogers Center last night. The Jays got plenty of help at bat, with third baseman Brett Lawrie notching a 2-run homer. Brandon Morrow started on the mound for the Jays and was solid over the course of 7 innings. Last night's game also marked the return of shortstop Yunel Escobar, who was met with a smattering of boos from the Toronto crowd. Escobar was returning from a 3-game suspension over anti-gay comments written into his eye black. The Humber Alumni Homecoming is going down this weekend, and it all kicks off tonight with the Gala and Varsity Fashion Show at 7 p.m. The gala will end with the induction of some new Hall of Fame members. Saturday is full of alumni versus varsity games, plus some regular season OCAA games. The action kicks off at 1 p.m. with the men's and women's soccer teams playing Niagara College. And the day wraps up with the men's alumni hockey game at the Westwood Arena at 9 p.m. That's it for sports. Back to you in the studio now.
Thanks, Elton. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Knee Too Thinned.
The action thriller Looper, A Hotel for Monsters and Ghouls, and Nuit Blanche. They're all on offer this weekend. I'll have your entertainment news after the break.